Okay, hi. So if you don't know, if you're new to my channel, my name is Melissa. I am La Bruja of the Raven and La Bruja. You can find me on Instagram. There's a link in my bio page or whatever on YouTube. I it's best to watch my first video to get the history of me and who I am and everything. So I don't have to do that in every video. Um, this is completely new to me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying this out, this whole YouTube thing, and seeing how it goes. This is an alternative way to answer questions that I get almost daily from Instagram, from my followers. So this is another outlet for them to follow me and get more information, because I usually just do posts and not videos on my Instagram. So I just want to talk about a few things. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most common questions I'm asked, and that is, one, am I a witch? Two, how do I become a witch? Now, before I begin and go into this, I just want you to understand this is my views. This is my opinions. This is what I believe. This is what works for me. I am not here to tell any of you how to do anything, how you should practice your craft, or any of that. So you can take it or leave it. This is the way I explain things in my own view. Can anyone practice witchcraft? Yes, anyone can practice witchcraft. Absolutely. How do you practice witchcraft? Well, that is up to you. How much are you willing to research? How much work are you willing to put into it? We are in a time where spiritualism and occult and things of that nature are becoming popular again. And it does that. It cycles. It was popular, a few years back, and a few years before that, and a few years before that. So what happens is you get a lot of people interested in it, and they kind of just touch the surface on it, and they do all the trendy stuff, and then they forget about it, and then they move on and they carry on with their life, and they never go back into it. And that's fine. That is absolutely fine. That is just life, like anything else. We tend to like, what was the latest craze? The fucking chicken sandwiches at Popeyes. We get these trends, and everybody wants to try it. And then 2-3 weeks, for a month down the line, nobody does that anymore. Nobody cares about that chicken sandwich, and that's just how it works. Okay, so witchcraft. Now, there are tons of ways to practice witchcraft. There are tons of cultural witchcraft. Every culture has some type of root, connection, way, folk magic that has been practiced in that culture, if you go down, far enough. So what I always suggest for new people, for beginners who want to walk this path, is look into your cultural magic. Start here before you jump into anything else that is not your culture. Start with your culture. That is in your blood already. That is within you already. Please start there. Research it. I am not here to give you answers. I am not here to do the work for you. You need to do it. Nobody did the work for me. I did it. I wanted it. I felt it. I needed it. You need to do the same thing. I will gently guide you in the right direction, but I will not do the work. And that is an issue that I get all the time, is people messaging me wanting to know how, wanting to know where, wanting to know, but they want all the answers. They want to know what books I've read, what do I do, what am I doing. What I'm doing is what I'm doing, because it's what I feel, it's what I've connected to. I can't tell you what you're going to connect to. You need to figure that out. Now, for me, being a witch and my craft is my lifestyle. It is not something that I just do sometimes. This has become my way of life for the past, 5 years now. Prior to that, it was something I always picked up and put down because I was busy. I had life to live. We are constantly, in this lifetime that we're in, we are here to learn. We are here to learn lessons. We are here to learn from each other. We are here to discover ourselves. And that's what I was doing. I was figuring myself out. And that's what everyone needs to do at some point. So, yes, you can practice witchcraft. Now I'm going to say something else that's going to get people all in a bunch, get their panties in a bunch. I don't even know how to word this. I don't even know how to word this correctly. Not everyone is meant to be a real witch. It's like we are all born with some type of talent or some type of gift, right? Like let's take an artist for example, okay? We can all draw. We can all pick up a pen, pick up a pencil and sketch something. We can all do a stick figure. But we're not all going to be artists, like genuine artists. We're not going to be all good at it. A lot of us are going to be very mediocre. Some of us are going to be not good at it at all. Some of us, it's just not our thing, right? It's the same thing with being a witch and witchcraft. Some of us are going to be very good at it and take to it, and it's going to be second nature. It is already within us. We were born with it. We've had past family members and ancestors that were witches, and whatever label they were called in their culture. It's the same thing, like with any talent. We can all try to sing, but not all of us are really good at it, and some of us are fucking Mariah Careys. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So yes, you absolutely can practice witchcraft. You can absolutely do spell work. You can absolutely do whatever you want to do. But you're going to have certain things that you're going to be stronger at than other things. So yes, pick up researching your cultural magic. If you are white with Irish descent, look up Irish magic. Look up that folk magic. If you are German, look up German folk magic. Every culture, there's something somewhere. Start there. Now, once you start there, now pick something that interests you the most about divination. Maybe you're drawn to crystals. If you are drawn to crystals, start learning about crystals. Buy a couple of books. Start researching them. Buy some crystals. Choose something, and then you don't have to master it, but get a good feel of it. What calls to you? What are you drawn to? Because there are tons of different things. I like crystals. I think crystals are very cool. I think crystals have a lot of energy. I think they help in so many ways. They are awesome. I carry crystals. I wear crystal rings. I do all that stuff. Am I an expert at crystals? No, not at all. I can never remember the names. I can never remember what their purposes are. I have to go back and look. But what I am really good at, what my strong point is candle work and manifesting. That is my thing. Tarot. You want to get into tarot? Get some books. Get a tarot card. Get your tarot cards. Learn each card and understand that each card has different meanings for different reasons. I mean, it's a lot of work, you guys. It's not something you can't just decide to wake up tomorrow and just be like, oh, I'm a witch today. I'm going to be a witch. That label comes with a lot of work. So I don't use that label lightly. And I know there are plenty of people out there that will refer to them as a witch, refer to themselves as a witch, but they don't have anything behind it to back it up. And that always bothers me. But whatever, I can't do anything about it. It's whatever. Now, a witch is just a term. There's tons of terms that come with witchcraft and magic and everything else. I think, then there's like people that are born with gifts like being psychic. There's a list of different types of psychicness. There's people born who know how to connect with spirits, see spirits, feel spirits, and ghosts, and feel things. And there's empaths, and there's so many things. You may not be all of those things. You may not be any of those things. But you can still practice. You can still pick up, a craft and practice it. And that's fine. And you need to do what you feel in your gut and your intuition and your heart and your soul of what feels right to you. I can't tell you those things. I do give tips. I do, people are asking me all kinds of stuff all the time, and I try to help as much as I can. But one of my biggest responses to certain things is you need to research it, because I can't tell you. Also understand that not all witches are psychic. Not all witches are empaths. Not all witches, do all the things. So, yes, you can become a witch. A witch is someone who practices witchcraft, who has a craft, who is working on the craft and embracing your own power. And that's really what it comes down to, is knowing yourself, knowing your power, and living that life, living that way. So I think that's the way I see it. That's the way I view it. I think I'll cover some other stuff in other videos. What else? What is the best way to research? Okay. People ask me all the time, what books do I read, and can I refer a book? I don't like to refer books, because if I go to a bookstore and I look in their metaphysical areas and there is a specific book that calls to me, it may not be the same book that calls to you. So I don't want you to do as I do. I want you to do what feels right to you. So go to the library. The library, if you are short in funds, if you do not have a lot of money, go to the library. The library has metaphysical books. They have books on witchcraft. They have books on crystals and tarot and everything else. They do exist. It is there. And if they don't have it at your library, they can order it for you. It's free. Go to your bookstores. If you can spend a little bit of money, go to your bookstores. Actually look at these books. Pick them up. Go through them. What calls to you? What interests you? What is speaking to you? That's the book you need to pick. If you feel like that is the most interesting book of the bunch that you feel drawn to, that's the book you need to pick up and take and home and read. Okay? you're interested in herbs, herbs is another one of my big interests. I love herbs. I love herbal magic. I am big on herbs. That was my very first book I bought myself as a 13-year-old, was the Encyclopedia of Herbal Magic. It's a green book. If you're into astrology, if that is your thing, you're into the zodiac and signs, start there. Start what really interests you and intrigues you and something you really want to learn about. Because what I like may not be what you're interested in. And the same goes to any other person that you're following, because there's a lot of us out there who have a lot to offer and who bring different things to the table. Okay, there's plenty of people like me. Okay, we all bring something different to the table because we all have our own path. We all have our own background. We all have our different experiences. We all bring something to the table, but it may not be something you like. Maybe what I bring to the table is delicious, and maybe, Susie Q over here brings salad with raisins in it, and that's just not your thing. So, or opposite, maybe I bring something that is not great, and you don't agree with it, and you don't want it. That's fine. You don't have to eat it. So, just think about those things. If you are wanting to walk this path, if you are wanting to take this journey, it is a lot of work, because it's not just the witchcraft, it's the spirituality of it. It's the getting right with yourself. And that's the hardest part, because it seems like some of the people that come to me wanting to do this are the biggest messes. And you have to get right with yourself. You have to stop standing in your own way. And that seems to be the biggest problem, is a lot of people want to do this. They want to be a witch. They want to be a witch, and they want to, dress the part and do witchy things because it's so cool and so neat. But are you willing to strip down to your real self? Are you willing to heal all the trauma of your past? Are you willing to see yourself for who you really are? Are you ready to let go of things that do not serve you? Are you ready to let go of toxic relationships? Are you ready to know yourself in a way you've never known yourself before? Are you ready to do shadow work and face the darkest parts of yourself and be okay with it and accept it? These are all the things that come with this path. It's messy, it's ugly, but it's healing. Like I said, so many people want to wake up tomorrow and just already be at point C and skip over B, and it just doesn't work that way. So I just highly recommend you are honest with yourself and know what you're getting into and are willing to do the work. Because if a lot of people do this and just touch the surface and that's it, and that's fine. They just have one toe in and it's a little too chilly, so they don't want to go all in, and that's fine too. There's so many paths in witchcraft. There's so many cultures in witchcraft. Paganism is just like the umbrella, and under the umbrella are just a ton of things. The one thing I'm really touchy on, and people don't like to hear this either, is cultural magic. This is why I push staying in your cultural magic first, starting there, because here's a better example so I don't sound so much like an asshole. Okay, so I am Mexican, I am Hispanic, I primarily do brujeria. I work with my cultural magic, what I grew up with, what I know. I have had a lot of calling and messages to start getting into voodoo, and I just don't feel comfortable yet, because even though that is made up in my DNA a little bit, I feel like that is not, it's not my place yet. I don't feel comfortable practicing voodoo. It is a black cultural magic. I respect it. I think it's beautiful. I love it, but I'm not comfortable yet, and I need to be comfortable with it. I have been exposed to and experienced and asked to join Santeria and be part of that, but and I was going to do it, and I do have a connection to the Orishas, and I do practice that part of it, but I didn't feel comfortable to join a house. I didn't feel comfortable with it being a religion. I didn't feel comfortable with the rules and the having to be initiated and the cost of initiation. There was a lot of things I didn't like about it that has nothing to do with the actual religion part of it, but had to do with all this other stuff that had been created. I'm not one for formed religion. I don't care for formed religion. I don't care for the man-made part of religion. I really felt like I was going to go in that direction of Santeria, and then once I started really getting into it and learning more about it, I didn't feel comfortable with all the other stuff of it, and seeing how much drama there is in these houses and all the rules and stuff, and it just wasn't for me. Now, I don't think that because I'm not initiated in that I can't have that connection with the Orishas. I work with them. I respect everything about it, but it wasn't for me. But I don't know if you guys are following what I'm saying here about cultural magic and where you should start and why it's important to start with your culture, because you need to have respect for other cultures. And my main deity that I work with, is Santa Muerte, which is a Mexican deity. And there's been a lot of issues where a lot of different people are jumping in on that. And there's been an uproar of like whitewashing and appropriation and all that stuff. And it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope to discuss. It's a slippery slope to get into. You can't fix racism with racism. So it's not that I feel like, oh, well, you're white, so you can't practice blah blah blah. No, I want you to understand it. I want you to research it. I want you to really grasp the culture of it before you jump into something that is not your culture. I think it's important. I think it's respectful. So anyways, I don't know. That's my spiel on that. I tell a lot of people this. Start with your ancestors. Start there. Start calling on your ancestors. Start talking to your ancestors. Start talking to your spirit guides. Start asking for help and direction and signs and messages. Start there. Start honoring them, light candles to them. Give offerings. Do all that. Start there, and then you'll be surprised how things really start to unfold for you, and you might start receiving messages on what path you need to go. a lot of these deities will make it known to you if they want to work with you, and they will make it known to you if they do not. I think that's another issue that we have in the magical community is people want to jump into what's popular in the deities. I do not work with goddesses or gods, like Greek stuff or mythology stuff. It's not my thing. I respect it. It's interesting. It's intriguing. It's not my thing. I know a lot of people do work with those, and that's cool. If that interests you, then start there. But I think certain things become popular and you see it so much that you think that that's what you need to do. I think that's an issue with Santa Muerte, is she's become popular in the United States, and she's getting more exposure. And I think that people just kind of sometimes jump on the bandwagon without really knowing what something symbolizes and what something's for and what they need to do to honor them. I'm just asking you guys to please just do your research and to be respectful of it. But going back to the beginning of this is that, yes, anybody can practice witchcraft. Some people will be stronger at it. Some people will be better at it. Some people will be more intuitive. Some people will be better at manifesting things. Some people will be, take to it a lot easier than other people, and it may have to do with their ancestors and lineage. Maybe they've had people in their ancestors who practiced magic, or had gifts. Maybe they were born with gifts and they haven't really honed in on them yet. And if you were born with gifts, I have a few gifts, and the last 5 years with me really diving in and focusing on my spiritualism and witchcraft has really opened up those gifts a lot more. They're much stronger. I'm way more intuitive. And it also has to do with trusting yourself and your intuition and following it and letting it guide you. Because I think one of the biggest problems we have is we don't follow our instincts. We don't follow our intuition. We don't follow that little voice in our head. And that's where we mess up. So that definitely is something we all need to work on. I've gotten a lot better at it. But it's with that, once you start researching and opening up to this and opening yourself up to this, you'll be surprised how more things will come to you. Yeah, I guess that's it. I'm going to close it up. I've already made almost a 30-minute video. I hope it makes sense to you, like it makes sense to me. But like I said, I'm not here to tell you how to practice. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I have no right to tell you how you should do things. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm just giving my advice. I'm just giving you my views on how I see things. You can take it or leave it. It's up to you. But I'll be making more videos. Hopefully you will stay with me on this journey. And there's a lot of things I want to cover. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.